What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Pinball FX tournament video. So this video is going to be a little different than normal because, as you guys know, on the 14th the Williams Volume 9 tables are releasing, which will be Pinbot, Taxi, and Who Done It. So I figured instead of making a tournament that was only going to last 3 days, I'll just create the tournament on the 14th, which will be an open challenge on Taxi. So we'll do that. So the tournament will be on Taxi. It'll be an open challenge, a one-ball tournament on the new Williams tables, because I like to do tournaments on the new tables. Plus, taking a break from the Zen originals is good as well. So yeah, that's what we'll be doing. And in the meantime, I highly suggest you guys play in other people's tournaments. Like I played in McAlpin's. I found his tournament, which was a classic challenge on Grimtails. I was playing in Max Velocity had a tournament on Whirlwind, and I was playing in the events page, tournaments hosted by Zen, and I really enjoyed actually the Crypt Dancer table a lot. So yeah, that's what the plan will be. So on Thursday, I'll just create the tournament on Taxi, and I'll make a community note so you guys can find the ID. But yeah, that should be fun. I'm looking forward to playing these tables, those new Williams tables on FX. And I'll also have a video out for each of those tables, just kind of showcasing the gameplay, if you're interested in that. So in this video, I won't have any gameplay footage for anything at the end. It's just going to be me talking about Super League football. So, talking about this table, I guess the most important thing you have to discuss on a table like Super League football is soccer itself. So I'm going to call it soccer, even though I know a lot of people call it football, but I'm going to call it soccer. So the first thing I want to discuss is how the origination of the sport itself. So soccer originated in England in the mid-1800s and spread via British influence worldwide. And I was telling Ergo this. I did not know this, right? I always thought, kind of my ignorance was thinking that soccer originated in like South America because it's so popular there. But that is not the case. It really originated in England and spread across the world, which I think is cool. To have that kind of influence, right? And to be able to spread, that the sport across the globe. And as you guys know, soccer is the most popular sport worldwide and the most televised. It's played in almost every country, which is really cool. So it's like the World Cup is almost like something like the Olympics. It feels like that, right? It brings the world together, right? The whole world is glued to the same match, to the TV. I remember I watched the World Cup in 2010. I know it's been a long time, but I think I was watching the USA, and I forgot who they were playing, but I can't remember who we lost against, but it was just an interesting kind of thing, because everyone was like it was like in the summertime, so everyone was like watching World Cup matches, and it was on TV, broadcasted everywhere. But yeah, that's where it got its start in England in the mid-1800s, and it kind of separated itself from rugby because rugby and soccer were two different things. And speaking of the World Cup, it's sponsored and hosted by FIFA, which was started in 1904 and it held the first World Cup in the year 1930. So goes back, predates, World War II, right? So it's pretty old. The first World Cup was held in Uruguay and featured 13 teams: Argentina, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, France, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, Romania, United States, Uruguay, and Yugoslavia. And at the time, the first World Cup only had 13 teams, but I think now, doesn't the World Cup have like? Let me see something. World Cup. I think it has 48 teams. The one in 2026 next year will be the first tournament to have feature 48 teams. So that's pretty interesting to go from 13 to 48, right? And so the last World Cup, because the World Cup happens every 4 years, was in 2022, and it was held in Qatar and Argentina. And Argentina were crowned the champions. So Argentina has won 3 titles, I believe, 3 World Cups, but I could be wrong. And so the next World Cup will be held in 2026 across North America, Canada, and Mexico. It will mark the 23rd World Cup, and that's supposed to be really big, that it's happening in North America and Canada and Mexico. So, because usually it's held in other parts of the world, but having it on this side of the on this side of the world is kind of interesting because it's not as popular in North America and Canada. I would say Mexico, it is a little more popular, but it's kind of interesting because you're holding the World Cup in North America where it's not as popular is an interesting thing, but I don't think it's going to affect anything. In fact, it might even get more get a lot more publicized because it's in America. So that could be interesting to watch. We'll just have to wait and see. So I also wanted to mention, some, 5 kind of big time soccer players that you may have heard of. Pele, Brazilian forward. He won 3 FIFA World Championships. You got Diego Maradona, an Argentine playmaker. Lionel Messi, an Argentine forward. He won the 2020. He was part of the team that won the 2022 FIFA World Cup with Argentina. Cristiano Ronaldo, the Portuguese forward. Zinedine Zidane, the French midfielder, who won, who was in the 1998 World Cup, but ended up losing to Italy when he received a red card for headbutting someone. And after that match, he retired. So that was like kind of a bad way to go out. But I remember that. I remember people talking about that. And what's really interesting is that his son. No, what's interesting is that the person who Zidane headbutted was an Italian soccer player, and his son played soccer at my school. His name is Davide Materazzi. And so that's like I remember that I was hearing that, and it was just like what a small world, right? Like his son would be playing soccer at my college, right? So that was pretty interesting, and I used to play soccer when I was a kid. It was the sport that I grew up playing. I was never good at it, I never took it seriously, but I really enjoyed like going to soccer practice. I enjoyed playing the game itself. It's just a good, I remember we'd have our games on Saturdays in our youth league, and after the game ended, I remember like parents had to bring snacks, so like sliced oranges and the Capri Suns. It was just good times, good memories. So you guys might have played soccer too when you were little or growing up. So But yeah, I also want to talk about, some of the more popular soccer themed tables in pinball. So you have World Cup soccer, as you know, which we've played a lot of on Pinball FX from Bally, which is based off, the World Cup that took place that year in '94. Which also took place in the United States. Remember all the United States cities. You have Striker Extreme from Stern, released in 2000, which has kind of like the same goal type of goalie, where the goalie defender is moving left to right, trying to defend the goal. You have Kickoff from Bally, released in 1977, which is an EM from Jim Patla. Soccer Kings from Zakaria Pinball, released in 1982. Team 1 from Gottlieb, released in 1977, which was also an EM. Super Soccer from Gottlieb from 75, also an EM. A table called Soccer from Williams, released in 1964. An EM from Norm Clark. And then you have tables that are more recent, like a Soccer Kings Deluxe from Zakaria, released this year, 2025. Even World Challenge Soccer from Premier, released in 1994. So there's a handful of tables, not too many soccer themed tables, but it's definitely not new to pinball. And I think World Cup Soccer 94 from Bally probably takes the cake on the soccer themed tables. Just because of its high scoring table, the magnet, its personality, the magna save. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to talk about, just to give a little background on this table and soccer itself. What's interesting too is that Michael Dracubarks was telling me that when Super League Football first released on Zen Pinball 2, that you could choose a club or something, and but that's no longer available, and I'm assuming it's because of licensing, right? But I think that's really cool. And what someone else reminded me of how this table was free when it was re-released on Pinball FX for a short time. So that was nice of Zen Studios to do. But if you didn't get it then, you gotta pay for it now. But I think it's a nice gesture that they released it for free for a while. So this table, I really like the mechanics of Super League Football. I think it plays it makes you really feel like you're in a soccer stadium. I love the outlane saves with the post that pops up. I feel like those outlane saves where it stops the ball and then you have a chance to use the flipper to get it back in the playfield adds a lot of where you can keep the ball in play for a one ball challenge. That's really important. So I think those are huge. The fact that you have chances to save the ball from draining. It's like a kickback, but it's not. You also have that upper mini playfield with the targets moving left to right, which act like defenders when you're trying to score a goal or make a penalty kick. The announcers on this table are really good. Like, it just sounds like you're watching TV and they're commentating. So the commentators are really good on this table. Artwork, the atmosphere, you have nice sound effects of crowd cheering. And it almost feels like pinball and soccer kind of like are related, because when you're trying to like do flipper tricks with the flipper on the pinball, it just kind of makes me think about someone doing like soccer tricks with the soccer ball with their like feet, right, and legs. It's an interesting concept like that. But yeah, just really cool mechanics. I think the only way I came in last, but I was doing some practice on solo mode, and I figured that the best thing to do is, to score the jackpots, and getting a goal is important to do, right? Which is the goal of soccer, right? The goal of soccer is to score goals. And it's a lot harder than it seems because depending on, like, sometimes you'll have more targets defending, helping the defender. So you got to kind of wait until the right moment, or you get lucky where you can knock down some of those targets from those random awards. But just a really cool, sports themed table from Zen. So I'm glad you all enjoyed it. I hope you guys did. And let me just go over the scores. So we had a closed tournament, 10 attempts, 12 people. But Carpy Sun, congratulations to Carpy Sun for first place with 113 million points. Congratulations there, Carpy Sun. And I know Carpy Sun is a regular, and I want to say Carpy Sun has been in first before. I can't remember which tournament or which table, but I know he has. I feel like he has. In any event, congratulations to Carpy Sun for that score. In second place, we have another regular, Gap Vic, with 107 million points. These are big scores for one ball. It almost kind of hard to believe, but Gap Vic, congratulations there for that second place score. Gap Vic is also regular, and he's really good in pinball. So I know that Gap Vic likes the Williams table, so I'm sure he's excited about the Williams tables that we'll be playing, especially Taxi for our next tournament. I can't believe that, actually. Taxi is our next tournament. That's going to be exciting. Third place, we have King Bally 100 with 94 million in third place. King Bally was telling me that he got to like top 10 in solo for Super League football with like 231 million, something like that. So that's pretty huge. Congratulations, King Bally, for that top 10. He's trying to get in the top 10 for all the tables, but he told me recently that he was bumped down. So you know how leaderboards are, right? Your score is never really safe. In fourth place, we have UTD 4000, another regular of ours, with 62 million points. In fifth place, we have McHaleton with 43 million points. I played in McHaleton's tournament today. I think it's still going. It's a classic tournament on Grimtails, which is a fun table that we're going to do as well because it's still a Zen original. In sixth place, we have Bad Jack Daniels with 32 million, another longtime regular. Congratulations to Bad Jack. In seventh place, we have Midnight with 31 million. Look how close Midnight is to Bad Jack. So Midnight is, I think he goes by Wezzy or Wez on YouTube, but thank you to Midnight for joining our tournaments. He's a cool person to talk to. I've been talking to him in the comment section. Really, knowledgeable about pinball. I was telling him about the Pinball Map app because he told me that he hadn't played real pinball in a long time, or before. I can't remember. In eighth place, we have our friend Jabba, who has been back from his Euro trip. And what's cool is Jabba showed a video on his channel of him playing Whoa Nelly, and Whoa Nelly is like one of my favorite tables that I'd love to play in real life at some point. But close scores here, look at that, 32, 31, 30. In ninth place, we have Johnny Sev, also on our channel, with 24 million points. Congratulations to Johnny. 10th place, rounding the top 10, is Urko 1945 with 18 million points. In 11th place, Genuines, another regular, with 15 million points. And I came in last with 8 million. So I didn't realize how, difficult this table was to kind of figure out. So I used up all my attempts pretty fast, but I found out through practice that you kind of just have to make goals and then score jackpots and defend lanes. But yeah. So thank you guys for, watching and playing this tournament. And because there's no, the next tournament will be on Taxi, which I'll make. I'll remind you guys. I'll give you guys the ID on the community post, and so that will be the next tournament. So there's no gameplay footage right now of that table because it's not on Pinball FX yet, but it will be on the 14th. But I would say in the meantime, just play other people's tournaments, which is what I've been doing. Like I played in McHaleton's tournament, which was fun. Max Velocity has a tournament. Or just join anyone's tournament, any table that you want to play. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week when we come back with Taxi. We'll talk about that table. Till next time, catch you guys later. Peace.